reasonable way is to do that.
Merci. Thank you, Mr. Kochar. Okay, next we have 5 minutes for Mr. Redekopp.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to the team for being here today. The Minister's briefing binder showed a wait time for some humanitarian and compassionate categories of up to 50 years, and I think the website today says greater than 10 years. So this includes Hong Kongers, Ukrainians, Sudanese, and all the other people that we invited to our country. Now the government is effectively saying that they will never be processed. So, Deputy Minister, do you think it's reasonable for a newcomer to Canada to wait 50 years for their claim to be processed?
Madam Chair, so I'll start, and if you need more precision, I'll turn to my ADM colleague here. We have started to mention on our website a forward-looking processing time, which means that if you apply today, what would be the time taken to actually get that visa over time?
So I understand that. So do you think it's reasonable to have somebody wait 50 years for that to be processed?
Madam Chair, I'd comment on one thing, that it is dependent on the number of spots available, which is the immigration level decision. It is not based on...
I'll take that as a yes then, that you do think it's reasonable to wait for 50 years for claims to be processed.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Point of order. We'll stop the time.
The Deputy Minister did not say that. Our colleague's an experienced colleague, but he's putting words into the mouth of the
Debate.
You can say no.
Not a point of order. Not a point of order. Mr. Redekopp, your time begins again.
Thank you, and I didn't hear a no. So I'm taking that as a yes. Now, Deputy Minister, have you advised the government to stop accepting United Nations selected government-sponsored refugees and instead use those levels to keep the promises that you made to persecuted persons from Hong Kong, Ukraine, Sudan that are already in Canada?
Can I turn to you, Ishamar?
Sure, I think, thank you for the question. I think, as was discussed earlier in the context of the broader immigration levels planning, we have to find the balance between all the various pathways and commitments that we've made, including for Hong Kong, Sudan, but also for the United Nations refugees that we do accept.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing you say, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that we are going to continue to bring in people, even while we have many, many people in our country right now that are trying to go through the H&C category. We're still going to keep on bringing people in. That's what I'm hearing you say?
Madam Chair, that is not how we actually proceed. What we do is we do not have any cap, or we don't have an intake control over asylum. This is one category where people are actually coming in, and that cannot stop.
Sorry to interrupt, but these were specific programs. These aren't general asylum claims. These were the Hong Kong programs. These are the Ukraine programs. These were specific programs with known numbers.
And Madam Chair, that is what we are trying to do, that those numbers which were created so far, example, Ukraine was a temporary program, and if you are turning to be into a permanent residence, you have to apply through the levels of economic, and it will take you that many years because there is a limited space in the levels plan.
Thank you. Would it be possible to table with the committee in the H&C category, by each stream in there, how many files have been processed by quarter for the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025? That would be very helpful to us. Is that something you can provide?
1 minute.
Can I be very precise? You're looking for last 2 years data for the 24-25?
Yep. The last 2 years. Calendar 24.
We will provide that, Madam Chair. We will provide that.
Your own rules say that if someone gives immigration advice, they must be a licensed representative. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
So why do you allow colleges or designated learning institutes to use unlicensed agents overseas to steer people into our system?
Madam Chair, our ability to actually do that overseas is we don't have any authority over the overseas. We only have the authority in Canada, which actually binds that only the registered consultant give the advice. What happens outside of Canada is not something which we can.
Do we not have control over the designated learning institutes in Canada? Can we not tell them how to do things?
We absolutely do, Madam Chair. We actually give them very clear guidance as to what does it mean if there is a fraud detected, what happens as a consequence, and what does it mean. But again, as I mentioned, we don't have a control outside of Canada.
Mr. Kochar, thank you, Mr. Redekopp. We now have 5 minutes to Mr.